This game will show me where Mamelodi Sundowns stands in terms of their mentality when approaching knockout games. And I must say, nothing has changed.
Whoa.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, bro. We play well, first 45 minutes, get a lead if that happens. And then when it's time to close shop and make sure that we end the game as it is, we're comfortable with our draw or our lead, just crumble under pressure, bro.
Yeah.
Team just and specific players always crumble under pressure, but we'll touch on that.
Feels like a bit of a rant.
Yeah.
A bit of a rant.
No, it's not.
But
bro.
no, okay. I think
it's a review.
I think
from my side, it's a review.
I think for me, let me just start by saying the game started very hot and heavy. It was very much just boom. It's going either each way. But as it kept on going, we could see, okay, we're from the get go. I'm seeing, okay, coach, I don't know what's his name, Amadou.
I think Abdeslam. Let's just call him Abdeslam.
First game, he's changing. He's bringing new players, and now now it's more familiar players. You see the Dino van Rens now. You're seeing more of the players that we're used to, and you're saying, what happened? So interesting. I see that, and I'm like, all right, fine. You're seeing it's a more obviously certain players you're seeing Nduli playing over Umbule, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess but fine. But as the game grew, you guys started to grow in the game. You're starting to touch the ball a bit more. Now opportunities are starting to open up. Imbowe is starting to open, and you're just saying, okay, this is the Sundowns that we know, and you're wondering, hey, how is this gonna pan out? And there you go. Again, I see from a set piece, I think me more egregious than anything.
Yeah.
Tebogo Mokoena scoring from a set piece from a corner. That's egregious, bro. No, like
it really happens, bro. It really. I was also surprised. I was expecting a Grant or a Kino Cupido to be at the end of those, but it got to him, and that was a bullet header.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think at the timing that the goal came as well, because it got a bit caged. I think the game started to feel more like a first leg where it's just like, let's feel each other out a bit more tactic towards certain instances. I'd say not boring, but in the sense of like you could tell the teams were not fully going at each other at every single opportunity. And I think obviously second half, I mean, I can just say I even mentioned this before we shot. I think your coach kind of allowed Pirates to go into the game.
Yeah.
Because I think he just I think even with the substitutions, I would say to a certain extent. Obviously, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, maybe there's a reason. He's just trying to say that it's an away game. And again, we take this, we go home. Now, boom, we're there. We're in the final. There you go. And I think that was probably the wrong way to go about it. Because I'd say Evidence Bokhopa, he played really well. I think he was definitely a presence. And I think he really gave y'all... He was tough to deal with at certain instances, especially with those balls into the box that, they kept on wanting to throw into there. And I think towards the end, as I said, they just started to touch the ball a bit more. They started getting in those right positions, and
it became difficult. Like you mentioned, in the second half, we made some negative substitutions, bro. Bringing on Obas, taking off Tashrik Matthews, and putting on Peter Shalulile. Why is Lewu Mutiba, Mr. Takin, not playing, bro? Shalulile wants to leave. He's literally like in talks with clubs from North Africa. Let him go so that Lewu Mutiba can get a shot. But stay in game, bro. Ikram Reyners had one of the worst games I've ever seen of him.
Which is crazy because he had probably one of the better performances at the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
And you thought that he would take that momentum in such a huge stage and bring it back home. And he's really he looks a bit off it. He looks unfit. I don't feel like he looks sharp. He doesn't look like, I don't know.
He's gunning for it. But Themba Mshishi's injury also contributed a lot to us not being able to play.
Yeah, and you're just hoping that that's not anything too serious, because obviously AFCON is not too far along, and we definitely need our captain being a part of the team. Do you think it's time to have some uncomfortable conversations, or is it a bit premature now?
I feel like it's a bit premature.
Okay.
He still has much to offer for Hugo Bros.
Fair.
But I'm looking at Grant Kekana, bro. Like, I'm looking at Umboraz on the other side. He's a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, mature, assured, comfortable on the ball, calm under pressure. Grant, bro, Umdala, dog. Like, bro, this brother has been playing in the PSL for much longer than Umbogazi. He's been playing at international level. But some of the mistakes that
it's a bit rash. It's a bit frantic at times. It doesn't seem like you see for a team that plays so calm, level-headed. The moments that he has at certain points looks like it's a bit like daft. But I also have just a special shout out to Allende, who had a storm of a game in the midfield. I'd say he was the one player that I could say was really just like consistently everywhere in terms of really sustaining a bit of just like those counters that Pirates constantly always wanting to have that in ball into space with the wingers just kind of flanking out, and obviously that wing play eventually led to what became the goal against the run of play.
It wasn't really against the run of play because we were under the caution.
At that point obviously, but yeah, I think the way that it kind of you could tell that everyone was already backtracking, and I think what is Usbele? What a moment to score your first goal. What a moment in such a huge game in front of the faithful, and you're just saying, let's go. This is it. I think that they needed that. And I think, unfortunately, you guys kind of played into that moment eventually happening, and you thought that you were going to hold on, which, you can in certain instances. I think that was just...
Bro. I don't know. I don't think so. We can't, bro. Just let us just continue playing the way we play, and we get it. But I just feel like Paris knew where to hurt us.
Yeah.
Our left side, Krankik and Obri Mutiba, bro. Like, those guys are on form. Let them sit on the bench, but so that they can think. They can think about their decisions right now. They can think about their life decisions, bro. They knew that they had to press Mkwena. Mkwena didn't have space. That's why it seemed like Allende was all over the place, because Mkwena didn't have time on the ball.
Yeah.
They used Unduli and Mbata to advance the ball. And I'm speaking of Orlando Pirates. But one man was missing, bro. Tito Masongani.
Yeah, no, he was, Again, we're getting to that point where we have to say, man, what's going on?
What's going on,
man?
Yeah.
And I'd say, it's going to get to a point where fans are really going to start to say, hey, dude, anything else can work at this point, And obviously, he's still going to play. I'd say he's not going to lose his spot, but...
cagey first leg tie, bro.
Very, very.
Especially in the second half, but I feel like both teams can go into that second leg thinking that the game's still open.
It's anyone's to lose, I'd say. And I think, if anything, I hope it's a much more open affair. I think second legs are the ones that have the fireworks and just teams kind of going at it, saying, what's it to lose. So, but overall, I'd say a very interesting tactical game, but it's a lot of talking points either way. Obviously, we will be here for the second leg, whatever happens. But we just wanted to give our brief thoughts on that. But for myself, Mo and VJ, here at No Foul Plays at 8, stay tuned in.
Go.